Hi, my name is Radhika Chabda from India. A moment from a play that I really liked was a play that I saw here in India. It is a play called Black Hole, written and directed by Jyoti Dogra. What I connected most with the play was that it was based, it was a one act play and a one woman play. So, a solo play, and it was based on the magnificence of the universe and a lady's fascination with science and with black holes. So initially, I thought how would everyone relate to the play, but she has a personal connection with black holes because the last conversation with her mother when she's dying was to assure her that all her particles would go into an infinite black hole. So so as to assure her that her life had some purpose after it ended. So that was a very beautiful moment, and the intertwining of relationships with her husband, with her deceased mother, or with herself, with her sexuality. She relates to that with the feeling of being in a black hole or in the universe. So the moment that I loved the most was the ending of the play where they show her disappearing into a black hole with the help of lights, with just the help of lights. So it actually feels like she's disappearing into a black hole right there on stage. So it was a magnificent feeling as if she got what she wanted. She uses her voice, she uses very slight music in that moment, as well as the waving of her hand to show that she's disappearing inside a black hole. So that was the best moment I found inside that play, Black Hole by Jyoti Dogra. The part that I'm playing here is Rosalind's monologue from As You Like It by William Shakespeare. And why, I pray you? Who might be your mother? That you insult, exult, and all at once over the wretched. What though you have no beauty? As by my faith I see no more in you, than without candle may go dark to bed. Must you be therefore proud and pitiless? Why? What means this? Why do you look on me? I see no more in you than in the ordinary of nature's sale work. Oh, it's my little life. I think she means to tangle my eyes too. No, faith, proud mistress, hope not after it. 'Tis not your bugle eyeballs, or your inky brows, or your black silky hair, or your cheek of cream, that can entame my spirits to your worship. And you foolish shepherd, therefore do you follow her, like foggy south puffing with wind and rain. You are 1,000 times a properer man than she a woman. 'Tis such fools as you that make the world full of ill-favored children. 'Tis not her glass but you that flatters her, and it is out of you that she sees herself more proper than any of her lineaments can show her. But mistress, know yourself, down on your knees, and thank heavens fasting for a good man's love. For I must tell you, friendly in your ear, sell when you can. You are not for all markets. Cry the man mercy. Love him. Take his offer. Foul is most foul, being foul to be a scoffer. So take her to thee, shepherd. Fare you well. Why do I feel so happy today? Just as if I was in a boat with big white sails, and above me, the wide blue sky, and in the sky, great white birds floating around. You know, when I woke up today and after I got up and washed, I felt as if everything in the world had become clear to me, and I knew the way I ought to live. I know it all now, my dear Van Romanic. Man must work by the sweat of his brow, no matter what his class. And that should be the whole meaning and purpose of his life, and happiness and contentment. Oh, how wonderful it must be to be a worker who gets up with the sun and breaks stones on the roadside, or a shepherd, or a schoolmaster who teaches the children, or even an engine driver on the railway. Good heavens, it's better to be a mere ox or a horse and work than to be the sort of woman who wakes up at 12 and has her coffee in bed and then takes 2 hours dressing. How dreadful. You know how you long for a cold drink in hot weather? Well, that's the way I long for work. And if I don't get up from now on and really work, you can refuse to be friends with me anymore, Evan Romanic.